I've got a few minutes left, and I'm going to do something that I've not usually known for doing, and that is I'm going to be serious, okay? And I mean that in all earnest, because I'm deeply troubled. And I'm deeply troubled, and I'm going to raise this ugly word in front of you, which I normally wouldn't do, and maybe I'll get the disobedience prize for doing it. But the word that I'm going to raise is politics, okay? And I'm deeply concerned about politics. And this is not a partisan statement. I don't give a damn who you voted for or what country you voted in, if you could vote. But the ugly head of politics for the last 7 months has reared itself in ways that undermine and are deleterious to what the media laboratory has stood for 35 years. And what I mean by that is that politics has driven culture away from science and art. And that's what we've spent 30 years exploring. That's what the laboratory began with, and that's the warp and the weft and the fabric of society. We began in the 1970s by building technologies of expression, technologies of learning, and technologies of art. We digitized everything, and the theory of that was that we would reduce the friction and democratize the technologies of expression and of learning and of art. So if there was a press that was expensive and caused monopoly rents and preventing you from expressing everybody, we built presses. Don't buy a press, build one. If you thought the editorial content was too narrow and you couldn't express yourself, then we built the tools that allowed you to do it. We said, don't read it, be it. And that's what the laboratory had done for 30 years. And we were never about the bits. We were always about the people. In 1986, Judith Donath wrote a thesis during the first iteration of this lab's foray into the world of news, and she explored the concept of context, of how an article appeared, the typeface, the headline, the masthead, could impact its information as well as the content. 10 years later, when the web started to blossom, we looked at the web and said, it's anti-design. It doesn't allow you to express yourself. So our student Haakon Lee built a thing called CSS, Cascading Style Sheets, and that's what made the web what it is today and gives the web the look that it has today. Those are the kinds of things that we did. It was about people, it wasn't life. But now politics is driving culture. And it's driving culture away from those principles, and that's deeply concerning. And I think it's something that we all have to think about. But we're the Media Lab. We don't just think about it, and we don't get depressed. And I don't want you to be depressed. We don't get mad, we get even. Okay? And if you look around at the laboratory today, then what you'll see is that triumvirate of expression and learning and art has indeed been augmented by a fourth leg. And the fourth leg is the leg of society. And you'll see that throughout the lab in the 2 days as you wander through it. Whether it's manifest itself in Kevin Esvelt's work on the inclusion of the community in the diffusion of science throughout that community, whether it's Iyad Rawan's work in allowing 4 million people to test drive an autonomous vehicle so they can decide whether it makes the decisions that they would choose to have it make, whether it's Cesar's work on analytical exposition that allows people to understand data and see and visualize that data, or Civic Media's group on getting people engaged in it, or Sandy's and Deb's group on social analytics to understand it, or even our little work in viral communications on ways to kind of influence and enable people to do that kind of thing again. That's what our response to that is. And you'll see it in your trip through the lab. It's adding that word society back into the words expression, learning, and art. And hopefully we'll do that in a way that manifests itself and impacts and revitalizes that change. And why do we want to do that? We want to do that because we're going to build better people by doing that. And we're going to build better people with you. And if we build better people, we'll build a better world. And that will be the world we want to live in, and we will all thrive by doing it. And we'll reverse that trend of politics. So enjoy your 2 days, and thank you very much.